Yeah.
Grain the Canelo. Grain it.
Vamos a morirla.
Shut my mouth, man. Why don't you guys shut my mouth? Somebody stop me or something. Knock me down. Do something.
All the guys who think they can punch, let me see, mother.
A 20-year-old Mexican fighter with 30 straight wins. Most ended in knockouts. Saul Canelo Alvarez was unstoppable. But across the ring that night stood something different. A 34-year-old American veteran from Detroit with dead eyes and a smile that made seasoned fighters uncomfortable. They called him a psychopath, and he wore that label like a badge of honor. When a psychopath faced Canelo Alvarez, one man's undefeated streak was about to collide with pure, calculated madness. The question wasn't who would win, it was who would survive. By 2009, Canelo Alvarez had already solidified his reputation as a future boxing star. A newly crowned NABF welterweight champion, Canelo had achieved an incredible streak of 7 consecutive knockouts. While his record was impressive, what truly set him apart was his calculated and composed fighting style. Calm and methodical, Canelo avoided theatrics, focusing instead on dismantling opponents with precision and strategy. Leonardo Tiner was the complete opposite of calm and calculated. Short and stocky, with a mischievous grin and a wild look in his eyes, Tiner resembled a street brawler more than a professional boxer. Known as the pain server, his record of 21 wins and just 2 losses was impressive. But it was his fearlessness and chaotic energy in the ring that truly made him stand out. Tiner didn't just fight without fear. He thrived in brawls, charging forward relentlessly and seeking out exchanges of punches with reckless abandon. Tiner wasn't a fan of fighters who danced around the ring. He preferred brutal toe-to-toe wars and seemed to revel in every punishing exchange. Pain, it seemed, only motivated him further. His rivals often found themselves unnerved by Tiner's unshakable confidence, as if he believed he was invincible. Tiner made full use of psychological warfare tactics, taunting opponents with sarcastic smirks or wagging a disapproving finger after taking a clean shot, signaling they hadn't fazed him. Inside and outside the ring, Tiner's wild persona was anything but ordinary. With his cocky antics and unpredictable behavior, he seemed to walk the fine line between showman and madman. To many fans and analysts, Tiner earned the title of a maniac in the ring, someone who fought as though he thrived on chaos. Before the fight, Leonardo Tiner did everything he could to draw attention to himself and unsettle Canelo Alvarez. Tiner's interviews were filled with psychological jabs, often referring to the young Canelo as a kid, and confidently promising to silence the crowd with his performance. Rumors stirred even more excitement when reports emerged that undefeated champion Floyd Mayweather Jr. had taken notice of Tiner and even supported him going into the fight. This unexpected endorsement from one of boxing's greatest only amplified the interest. But Canelo, he remained silent. No trash talk back. No mind games, just quiet confidence that would soon speak louder than any words. From the opening bell, Tiner began with wild, sweeping punches, trying to corner Canelo with all the fury he could muster, seeking to overwhelm his younger opponent. Canelo, however, remained calm and unaffected by the provocation. He stepped back, shielding with his shoulders and dropping into a tight defense. Meanwhile, Tiner charged recklessly without much thought to his own defense. True to his brash style, the self-proclaimed psychopath unleashed his signature bravado, much to the crowd's amazement and delight. But around the midpoint of the fight, something changed. Alvarez began landing clean, powerful shots from a variety of angles. Tiner seemed visibly stunned at times, but instead of clinching or retreating, he grinned as though the punches tickled him. This wasn't normal. This wasn't how fighters were supposed to react to getting hurt. Tiner would take massive shots and smile back at Canelo like he was enjoying it. Round after round, Canelo systematically broke down the psychopath. Clean combinations to the head and body, picture-perfect counterpunches. Technical boxing at its finest. But Tiner, he kept grinning, kept taunting, kept inviting Canelo to engage in his chaotic world. What made this fight truly disturbing wasn't just Tiner's toughness, it was his mind games. Every time Canelo landed a clean shot, Tiner would nod approvingly, as if to say, when he got hurt, he'd wave Canelo forward with both hands, practically begging for more punishment. It was like fighting someone who couldn't feel pain, or worse, someone who enjoyed it. The crowd didn't know how to react. They were watching a young star systematically outbox a veteran, but the veteran was acting like he was winning. Tyner's psychological warfare was working, even on the spectators, but Canelo stayed composed. He had learned something crucial that night. Sometimes the most dangerous opponents aren't the most skilled. They're the ones who make you question reality. As the fight progressed into the later rounds, Tyner began to slow down and was forced to retreat more often. Still, he refused to give up, throwing counters whenever he could and maintaining his deranged grin. The judges' scorecards told the real story. Canelo was winning nearly every round with his superior technique, cleaner punches, and ring generalship. But Tyner's mind games had created the illusion of competitiveness. After the final bell, something incredible happened. Tyner raised his arms in triumph as if he had emerged victorious. Meanwhile, Canelo calmly removed his gloves, fully aware that he had secured a win on points. When the judges' scores were announced, all doubt vanished. A unanimous decision in favor of Canelo. The margin was decisive, with the Mexican fighter winning nearly every round. But the real story wasn't on the scorecards. Canelo Alvarez himself acknowledged Tyner's resilience and unorthodox approach, even raising Tyner's hand in a gesture of respect. Initially, Tyner pulled his hand away in irritation, but eventually nodded, his emotions easing. Although Tyner maintained that he had been robbed by the judges, a flicker of understanding crossed his face. He likely recognized that on this night, Alvarez had proven himself the superior fighter. The self-proclaimed psychopath had been thoroughly outdone in every aspect of the match. For Canelo Alvarez, the victory over Tyner was a crucial learning experience. He learned that not every opponent can be knocked out. Sometimes you need a plan for all 12 rounds. More importantly, he learned that the most dangerous fighters aren't always the most skilled. They're the ones who can get inside your head and make you doubt yourself. This fight would mark Canelo's last at local tournaments. Shortly afterward, he signed with US promoter Golden Boy Promotions, paving his way toward global success. Looking back, many observers note that the battle with Tyner helped forge Canelo's mental resilience. Fighting a psychopath taught him that boxing isn't just about physical skills, it's about mental warfare. Tyner, for his part, didn't fade into obscurity despite the loss. His name became known to many thanks to the wild nature of the fight. He proudly claimed in interviews that he hit Canelo harder than anyone else had up to that point. What he did, he was known as a guy that come get you and bang you out. He didn't do none of that. I was banging him out, but he won the fight from me. While this may have been a touch of bravado, there was some truth in his words. Canelo left the ring with a couple of grazes under his eyes, evidence of Tyner landing a few effective punches on the rising star. Throughout his career, no one managed to knock Tyner out, and his iron chin became the stuff of legend. His image was etched into fans' memories as the guy who laughed in Canelo's face and lived to tell about it. Sometimes in boxing, you don't win by being the most skilled. Sometimes you win by being the most unforgettable. But there was another psychopath lurking in boxing's shadows. Someone even more dangerous, even more unpredictable than Tyner. Someone who had been watching this fight very closely, taking notes on how to break Canelo's composure. The question is, would Canelo's mental armor hold up against true insanity?